Welcome to Season 4 of Soccer Over Gotham, an NWSL podcast covering New Jersey, New York, Gotham FC, hosted by Ruby Pinto and produced by Gary Gibson. Welcome to episode 122 of Soccer Over Gotham, the Offseason IS official edition. We have a great show for all of you. Gary, what do we have in this episode?
We have a ton on this episode. Gotham falls short to the Spirit on the road, and we're going to do a deep dive on some questionable coaching decisions, the wild back and forth of this match, and the penalties. Oof. And then we'll give our takeaways from this match. And then part 2 of this episode is going to be a lot of fun. We're bringing in the super team. Noela is going to join us, and we're going to talk about the offseason, because the offseason is official. There's no rest for Gotham players as they are going right into the national team camp. And we got some awards on this show. And then we're going to talk about how this season went and if it was a success. We're going to ask the fans. We're going to do the fan poll results. And then we'll give our decisions on whether we think this season was a success given the expectations. And, are those expectations realistic? We'll cover that. Then we will take our first look at the contracts that are expiring this season. And we'll see who is going to stay, who's going to go, what's Gotham going to do with this crazy offseason now that we don't have the draft, we don't have the expansion draft. So it's going to be an interesting offseason, and we'll preview all of that. And there is a ton of fan questions on this episode. We asked you guys delivered. We're going to talk about all that, and let's just get to it. Ruby, how are you?
First of all, we're back. I'm so happy to be back. I wish we were talking about Gotham winning and going to the finals, but it was still a good season. And I'm telling you that I still can't get used to the days being shorter, and then it's dark by 5. It's kind of depressing, but we'll get used to it, I guess. How are you, Gary?
Good. These days are going so fast. I can't keep up. I was thinking about the other day, I'm like, I got to worry about Thanksgiving. I'm like, oh, that's a while away. When is
nope.
That's next week? Craziness.
At my company, they're doing, sorry, cut you off, but at my company, they're doing a Thanksgiving lunch tomorrow. Okay. And then they were like, are you guys ready for tomorrow? And in my head, I was like, for what? And then I remember oh yeah, Thanksgiving was next week. So yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Christmas is coming. It doesn't quite feel like Christmas. I hear there's snow coming to the Lehigh Valley on Friday.
What?
Yeah, so maybe maybe I'll watch a Hallmark movie tomorrow. Maybe we'll say.
Oh, that sounds good.
Get into the mode. But onto the show. First, we're gonna do something we haven't done in a while. Is some hashtag Once Gotham news, and I think the most Once Gotham thing ever happened this week, which is Sam Kerr and Christy Mewis are having a child, which is amazing. Ooh. Just incredible. Ruby,
I know. I'm so happy for them. Congratulations on this new baby. And just a few days ago, I was going through their socials, and then something about their engagement popped up, and I was like, oh my God, a year ago they were engaged. And I was like, I'm sure pretty soon they're going to announce the wedding or something. But no, it's a baby. So we skipped the wedding for now. But I'm so happy for them. Congratulations.
Incredible. And we are on Blue Sky right now. So you can go follow us over there. Yeah. One of the reasons we're over there is because X and Twitter is an absolute dumpster fire. And places that posted this photo of them two had to turn off comments because it's just a mess over there. And I just can't take it. So we're working our way over there. Follow us there. We get half of our fans over there, but we might just jump there trying. But good for them. I can't wait. Again, congrats to them.
Yeah, I heard today they have 20 million new users as of today. Yeah, and they're getting 1 million users every day, something like that, which is crazy. That's awesome.
Yeah, indeed. On to actual Gotham news. 6 players have been called in for a tour of Europe, which is Emily Sonnet, Rose Lavelle, Lynn Williams, Yasmin Ryan back in camp, Jenna Neiswanger, and Tierna Davidson. Amazing for them too. They will play on Saturday, November 30th at 12:20 p.m. and then on December 3rd at 2:45 p.m. What are your thoughts, Ruby?
Oh my God. I'm so happy for all of them to
Mhm.
like get to this camp after this amazing season that they had. Fortunately, they didn't get to the final, but they're going to go represent the US. LaBelle, Sonnet, Ryan, and I'm so excited to see Ryan play
Mhm.
in these games because she's first of all, she's gonna go play, or all these players are gonna go play outside the country. They're not gonna be in home turf. So that's going to be different playing in another stadium in another country. So the fans there are going to be cheering for the other team. So it's going to be a different environment. I want to see how Ryan plays in these games. It's going to be really interesting, but honestly, I cannot wait.
Yeah, it's a friendly game, but these two teams definitely want to go out the United States. There's a lot of history with these two teams. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a lot of fun, and yeah, we definitely want to see Ryan show off. She's been amazing, even in we get to this game, but I thought Ryan looked like the best player on the field of this past game. Her ascent is incredible, just incredible. We also got some good news about Bernina getting called into Brazil camp finally.
Ooh.
They play Thursday, November 28th at 5 a.m. in the morning, then Sunday, December 1st at 3:35 a.m.
Wow. I don't know about those times, Gary. I don't know if I'm going to be able to stay up, but I'll sure watch the replay.
Yeah,
Probably not live.
I'll check and see if she plays, and if she doesn't, then oh well.
But I'm glad she's back with the Brazilian team. It's been like a couple of camps, and she didn't
Yeah.
even go to the Olympics. So I'm happy to see her back.
Indeed. She hasn't got many minutes lately, and when she has gotten minutes, she's looked really good. So hopefully they saw that and brought her back in. Other Gotham news is Berger Neiswanger made the first team all NWSL. Ryan and Esther and Lavelle made the second team. And today, Katrine Berger won goalkeeper of the year, which is amazing. And that was surprising to me.
Ooh. Yes. I mean, the competition was really good this year, but she's been amazing. And I think she does deserve the award of being best goalkeeper of the NWSL. She came in the middle, not in the middle, but she didn't start the season with us. So that's amazing.
Yeah, I really thought Orlando's keeper was going to get it because she set the shutout record for this first season. But I'm glad that they chose Berger. I think she's been amazing, and I think it's clear that is the best keeper in this league. And I can't wait to see her next year when she's got a whole year under her belt and be able to understand the nuances of the team better. It can only get better from here. I'm just glad that she's here. Now, getting to this game. Both teams are looking to make the finals for the second time in a couple of years. Both teams have made the final recently. And Gotham is pretty healthy for the first time this season. And Washington has been hit with a lot of injuries. They're missing Sullivan. They're missing Bethune. These are two teams that are on different paths, but both teams find ways to win. And it's going to be a really tough game, especially in a sold out stadium there in Washington. And the interesting things about this lineup, Ruby, is no Lynn Williams. Ella Stevens is in as left forward. And as we talked about before, Mandy Freeman is back at left back again and Neiswanger on the bench. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first I want to say that I kind of changed my mind after because we did talk about like Freeman being in the starting 11 for this game. And I said yes because she's been performing. But at the same time, she's been playing more minutes. I think Neiswanger would have been a better choice to start this game because she hasn't really played many minutes. So she is well rested to come into this game and give 110% in this game. And like you mentioned, no Williams. That's another what was going through Juan Carlos Amaro's head, like when she didn't pick Williams in this starting lineup. She has a lot of experience. She has won 4 NWSL championships. So I would think that would be the right choice. But hey, we still got strong players starting. This is another thing that we talk about in the show, how Gotham has a lot of options. Their depth is like incredible. But yeah, what are your thoughts?
I think when Lynn Williams is healthy and Jenna Neiswanger are on the same side together, I think they're the best left side in the entire league. It's crazy to think that we had them on the bench if they were healthy. Ella Stevens has been playing really well. She's been a hero of this season. She deserves to be out there. There's a lot of players that deserve to be out there, but Freeman has been just lights out as a left back. And I think that Juan Carlos looked at Rodman first. She's very physical, right wing. It has a lot of speed, and Nice Morgan likes to get caught up forward a lot, so it causes Lynn to get back more. So if you don't have Lynn up there, it might be better to have Freeman, who can drop back more, be a little bit more defensive minded. And I thought Freeman did a good job overall against Rodman. She was pretty quiet for the first half, and for most of this game. So I do. And I think Juan Carlos also likes to play players and give them, like, when they're hot, they're hot. So Freeman's been hot lately. So keep her going. It's interesting. It's something that definitely we're going to second guess later on. But yeah, let's talk about this game first. Elwood on Blue Sky said that on the pod last week that I mentioned how often it felt like teams failed to land a decisive blow against the Spirit, and like Gotham should have wrapped this up before the 60th minute. I agree with all that, of course, because I said it. But I think my analysis of Washington was pretty spot on last week. I pretty much got everything right except for, like, I thought Gotham was going to win. But I think there was moments in this game where Gotham just could not punish Washington for bad behavior, playing a little bit loose out of the back, and Gotham had chances. And I think Elwood is right. I think Gotham could have had this wrapped up by the 60th minute. But as I always said, Washington finds a way. They claw back, they don't give up, and they fight. Just your overall thoughts on this game, Ruby, just as a overall.
Yeah, I think they missed last episode and they didn't hear you say this because if they would have followed this, it would have been a much better game. Overall, I felt like they ran out of gas at the end, pretty much. It was kind of like they started strong. They did great in the first half. Second half, they come in strong. They scored. They lead the game. But then they went into like a all defensive mode and kind of like trying to kill time during, like, I think it was at the 60th minute, something like that. They started like trying to kill time. And that's not something that, at least not in the last few games, that I've seen Gotham do. They go to against these strong teams like Orlando, and they just kept going at them. And we saw the result of that. They scored 3 goals on Orlando. I think, I don't know why they did that. But hey, I guess they were trying to like kind of like, let's get that goal and then just go defend and win the game. They were not expecting Washington to come back and just go at them with everything they had, and that's what they did. Also in this game, you could tell that they were a lot in their heads, and Trinity Rodman was really good at doing that. You could see it when Bernina got her red card. Like, she just got in her head. It didn't go the way we wanted to, but overall, it was a good game.
I agree with all of that, Ruby. And we've seen this with Gotham throughout this season and even last season. When Gotham gets ahead, they sometimes will get a goal and then put up like the mission accomplished sign and then sit back and kind of dial it back a bit. In the playoffs, that sometimes works. Sometimes it doesn't. And it didn't work today. Or it didn't work on the day. It is something that Gotham has to work on because, as you said, towards the end of the season, they were not doing that. They would just keep pouring it on. They would keep attacking, keep pushing the envelope. And this was a default Gotham, and it just didn't work out for them.
Yeah, and the Washington coach mentioned that they had to play a nearly perfect game to win against Gotham. So...
And another thing I do want to talk about is what I think was an issue early on with Gotham. It was just being undisciplined, which is not usually like this team. I think Sheehan got a card early, Carter got a card early, then Bernina getting a double yellow coming on as a substitute, Jenna getting we'll talk about this in a minute, but like Jenna getting a card right before the goal. It just seemed like Gotham was maybe letting the moment get to them, and maybe the pressure was a little bit too much with that crazy crowd around them. But I just felt like Gotham was a little bit undisciplined in this game.
Yeah, they really were. And some of those like fouls and some of those guards, honestly, could have been easily avoided. But again, they just didn't want Washington to get ahead of them, and they were just making like careless mistakes on the field. So again, I feel like they were just in their heads.
The Bernina card was frustrating because it's like the first card she got was little underwhelming. Maybe it shouldn't have been a card, but the second one was an obvious card, and she had cover as well. It was unnecessary for her to make that foul there, and yeah, it's just frustrating. And it kind of led to the overall discipline to this team. Getting to the positives of this game, Esther was awesome. She was all over the field, and she scored a goal very similar to the goal she scored in the NWSL final. She just gets up there. She has ability to just really get a little bit of torque in her body and get the ball in the right spot. And it was just amazing goal. Just clean, perfect goal.
Yeah, it was such a great goal, especially coming from like a short player. Shout out to all the short players out there, because it's a lot about timing too. You have to time the ball really well to make sure you're in the right spot. And from the angle that she did it, it's pretty hard. And she just got it so good. Like, that goal was so good. Also, Kingsbury was like going the other side. So by the time she tried to go to the other side to get the ball, it was too late. It was already in.
Beautiful. And then the Hirschfeld goal, we were talking about this before, but Jenna Nice-Wonger taking an uncharacteristic foul around the box. She had cover as well. Just let her get to the end line. Who cares? She gets the ball across. The defense is doing well at this point. And Hirschfeld just finds a way in the middle of the box. She wanted it a little bit more than the Gotham players and put it in the back of the net. And then Dread kicks in, Ruby. What do you think about this goal?
Oh, yeah. It was a great goal, but I didn't like it. And like you said, it could have been avoided. Nice-Wonger didn't have to foul in there. Honestly, those are just those little mistakes that you make. Like I said last week on the last episode, it just takes a moment. It's just a second. You're like distracted, or you're not focused. It just takes 1 second, and this is what happened. Hirschfeld was, like one step ahead of Nice-Wonger, and she felt like she needed to stop her and foul her. And the consequences of that was that goal.
Then a question from Ross said, how disappointed should we feel at the semifinal game management? Subs at beginning of extra time were a massive error. Washington kept Rodman on. We took our stars off and couldn't sub after the red card and had Lynn playing right back. What was he thinking? It's still a very impressive year, but... And that gets to the pulling Ryan and Lavelle at extra time when Washington keeps Rodman on. What do you think?
I know they played most of the game, but I would have kept them in. I know those are like two key players in this team that I know that could make something out of nothing. So for me, I would have kept them in. What about you?
It seemed from the coach saying that those two players were spent, and they were kind of like just over their minutes at that point. I get it. I wanted to keep them in there as well. Those are players that you not only want for extra time, but you want them for penalties if it does get to that. Those are two players that, could have taken a penalty when we needed them to. And let's just get to the penalties. Gets to the end and 3 penalties, 3 misses, right in the same spot, one after another. And these are players that score penalties. Esther, Zerboni, and Nice-Wonger. They were chosen for that reason, and just 3 poor penalties. What do you think?
Oh my God, those penalties. First of all, the penalties were terrible. They were so bad. But just imagine how nervous and the pressure that these players had. For example, for Esther, you're the first one to kick the ball for your team, but you know that your opponent just scored on you, so you have the pressure to be the first one. You have to score this penalty, and then she missed. And then the second player, Zerboni, now you feel the pressure because your teammate just missed the last penalty and the opponent just scored. So you're down 1, you have to score, and she misses as well. And then Nice-Wonger, I felt so bad for Nice-Wonger because you could tell that like she didn't really want to take that penalty. She like took a deep breath before she was going to take this penalty. And I could see her nerves, especially again, now 2 teammates didn't score and you are the third one. And pretty much if you don't score, that's it. You lose. And she didn't score. It was so heartbreaking to see. It was incredible for Kingsbury to be able to like get those shots, but those shots were terrible.
The home team has won every game in this playoffs, and the top 4 teams are the best teams this league has ever seen. Home field advantage definitely played a part in it. Having 19,000, fans screaming is intense. So
Yeah.
Stair played the whole game, 120 minutes, which is tough for her. Then Zerboni and Nicewire coming in late in the game, not really warmed up into the match. That kind of was tough for them. Second guessing is second guessing. Berger did really well. There's nobody in the world that I want in the goal besides Berger on penalties, and she guessed right 2 of the 3 times. She just couldn't get her hands on it. It's just unfortunate, and the home team wins. The home team moves on.
Yeah, definitely sucks. Berger almost had that penalty kick. I think it was Hatch, the one that kicked it. She almost had it. Like, it touched her glove, but it was too powerful. It still went in. But yeah, like you said, overall, they had a great game.
Question at the end is, did Juan Carlos overthink this one?
I kind of think that he did. Like, instead of going with what he's been doing the last 4 or 5 games, I think he kind of retrieved to the beginning of the season, where Gotham was not really scoring much goals, and I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, I think he did a little bit.
Yeah, there's signs of it from the beginning, from the roster to the coaching decisions during the game. Yeah, it did feel like he was in his own head, and he did overcoach himself in this game, and it happens. He's been brilliant these past 2 seasons. There's nobody else I'd want at the helm besides him. It happens. It could be that, he's coaching against another well-known Spanish coach who's had his number all season. Maybe he was overcorrecting. It's, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Any player notes for this match?
Yes. I just wanted to say, to bring up and shout out Berger. She had such a great game against Washington. She was able to pretty much save some good shots from Washington. Washington just was bringing everything at Berger, and I think she did a great job. For me, she played really well, and that's why we have the goalie of the year.
True, and then she made that double save early on in the game, which would have changed everything. With this game, she was incredible. I also want to highlight Neely Martin. I think she's been amazing, not only all season, but she came into the playoffs as the captain, and we all know her growth as a player and as a person. She's been amazing, and she was awesome in this game, and she had to take on a little bit more responsibility when the team was down a player, and I thought she did really well acting as a third center back and really limiting the attack of Washington. So I just want to give her a shout out because she was excellent on the nights. Yeah,
she really was, and I feel like Emma Hayes should be watching at Neely Martin.
Yeah, indeed. Any stats of the game?
Yes, I do have a stat. Pretty much kind of like a tale of 2 stories, pretty much. Like, in the first half, Gotham had 53% possession of the ball. And then in the second half, they had 43% possession of the ball. So that kind of decreased. And like I'm telling you, it felt like they were running out of gas, and this shows.
Yeah. I got 2 main stats, and one is something it's like an overarching thing. We talked about on this team being tidy in the back, and there's a team that presses high, and a team that needs to have good, tidy backline passing, and they can't make mistakes. And in this game, Washington did a really good job of pressuring the back line and forced them into bad passes. Overall, Martin had 64% accurate passing, Davidson 79, Sonnet 83, Carter 67, and Mandy Freeman had only 56% accurate passing. Again, good on Washington for that as well. And the other thing is, I think Washington is the first team that I can remember who actually dominated the field tilt battle, where most of the action was happening on Gotham's side of the field. Yes, obviously the card played into that as well, but for the first time, Washington had 154 passes in Gotham's half, and Gotham only had 125. That is a very low number for Gotham, who likes to press high, keep teams pinned in. Again, good on Washington for being able to break pressure and get out. And yeah, it was just a tough night for Gotham. This was not a good night statistically or at the end of the game on the stat line. Any heroes of this match?
For me, the hero of the match is Esther Gonzalez.
Mm-hmm.
What
I
about?
got to stare. Yeah, I got to stare as well. She was awesome on the night, and she got the goal. She kept us in it, and missed penalty, whatever. But she was excellent, excellent. And I can't wait to see her again next season, just leading the line. Which leaves two teams, Orlando Pride and the Washington Spirit. Ruby, what do you think? Who's going to win this thing? Who are you rooting for?
Woo. Well, now that Gotham is out, I'm rooting for Orlando because, I'm from Florida. I was really close to Orlando. So I feel like Orlando's my hometown, my home. So I'm rooting for Orlando. But on top of that, I'm rooting for Marta. Like, she deserves this. She deserves to win a championship. She's been with Orlando for so long. She's been through the lows and now the highs. So I think she deserves it. Hopefully they win. If I'm gonna make a prediction, I don't know, maybe a 3-1. If yeah,
3-1. All right, it's bold.
Yeah,
but
hey, I think they're gonna, like you have mentioned before, it's gonna be like an Ali Krieger type of situation here for Orlando. So I think they're gonna go all out.
Yeah, I hope so. I've watched that Marta goal like 50 times on loop.
Oh my God. That goal was incredible.
Yeah, looking like 22-year-old Marta, just tearing. You see like the ball gets loose from Banda, and then you see Marta's eyes just get all big, and she just takes off, and I'm just like, wow, is she flying? To beat those two defenders, then beat the goalkeeper. It was just classic Marta. She's the greatest of all time.
Just
she
breaking ankles out there.
Yeah. Just like Ali Krieger did last season, I want to see Marta win the championship before she heads off because she deserves it. She deserves everything. Yes, this podcast is calling for Marta to win her first championship. We are going to move on to section 2, where we talk about the off season with the super team, Noela, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Ruby, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's go. The off-season is official. So we have semifinals of the Champions Cup. We have runners-up of the Challenge Cup, Summer Cup runners-up, semifinals in the playoffs, record 4 points away from the Shield, record wins. How successful would you say this season was? The fans said 19% said it was a big success, 60% said it was just a success, and then 21% said it fell short of expectations. Ruby, what do you think?
I don't know what's going on with those 21%. They did amazing. Like, if you consider how many games they played, if you consider they were like in international break, like during the Olympics, they had like to bring other players, and like these players like really worked their butt off this season. So for me, it's a successful season. I agree with the 60%. They did really good. Like I was saying earlier, like we really have to look back at all the things they've done. They're breaking a lot of like records, a lot of firsts for them. So I do believe this was a successful season for Gotham.
Yeah, definitely nothing less than a success. I mean, the track record speaks for itself, beating all previous records from the club, even just like attendance records for fans and stuff. Like that's been incredible to see, just the ambience of Red Bull Stadium, how much the fans have gathered around the team and supported them. So I think as not just a winning and losing perspective, I think overall the team culture, the team environment, and the team perspective across the league has really improved and increased, and it's a joy to watch.
As far as expectations go, my expectations of this team now, given the investments, the players that they have, I expect this team to win something during the season. The preseason cup doesn't really count. But I would, whether it's the Shield, whether it's the Cup, whether it's the Summer Cup, whether it's the CONCACAF Champions Cup, which we're still in, so there's still a chance for that. But I expect this team to get something out of this season. So on that part, it's just a little bit below expectation. Well, obviously, we can win the we win the Champions Cup. However, this season was remarkable. Obviously, the turnout from the fans was amazing. Getting 17,000 for that playoff game was just amazing. And the players deserved every bit of that. This season, people may not understand how good this season was. Any other season but two, this would have won the Shield. And this is like the third highest point total or the fourth highest point total of any team in any season for this league. So they were amazing. They lost like 4 games over an entire season, which is craziness for this club. 2 seasons ago, we won 4 games. I think this was a success. Maybe not a huge success just because I wanted 1 trophy. So that's maybe where it's a little bit low. But other than that, I think this was an amazing season. We were going halfway through the season with 14, 15 players on the injury list. In the Summer Cup final, we had retired players starting because we had lost so many players, and it's just crazy. It's with the Olympics and all that stuff. Players come back and in and out. I think this was a successful season from top to bottom. And shout out to Yael Averbuch. She's done an amazing job of keeping this team together. And this, like last season, felt like just getting some of the pieces in place. And now it feels like the vision is taking shape. And I think if this stays on track, this is going to be a successful team year and year and year after year. For me, again, it's a success. I'm with that 60% there. The 21% are probably Yankees fans if they don't win the championships. Off with everybody's heads. But yeah, it was awesome. Anything else to add for the successful season?
No, that's it.
Okay. Looking ahead, Judy on X said, looking towards next year, who stays, who goes, and who do we add? Will Midge Purse be back in Gotham? Let's look at some of the players who are on their last season at Gotham, and their decisions are going to be made on those contracts very, very soon. And we'll just go say whether we think they have a high, medium, or low chance of being re-signed. And the first one is Midge Purse.
I'm going to say high.
You think it's high that she's resigning?
Yeah, I really think she does because of what she did last year for Gotham. She was MVP player of the championship game. For all those reasons, I think she's going to be back. It's unfortunate that she wasn't able to play this season, but we know of her potential and we know what she can do.
I would say medium, only because I don't think it's a question of whether we want her. I wonder if it's whether she wants to be here. Not in terms of like, I can't say anything of like, I don't know what her like personal experience must be with the club. I'm sure it's great. But I know after coming from an injury like that, she'll probably want to consider her best opportunity for herself, where she might feel the most comfortable. If there's like a player or a coach that she wants to work with, perhaps that's away from New York. I think it'll depend. I think the ball will completely be in her court for that. So that's the only reason I'll put her at a medium.
I will say low. The reason I'm saying low is that we all seen the offseason official. We knew that she wanted to get more money before re-signing or finishing her season here with Gotham. And a lot of teams, she says, offered her a lot of money. I don't know how much this injury takes down that offers that she could have been getting.
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the way Gotham is built now with all these national team players. Contracts are going to be going up. I'm sure their bonus structure is going to be hitting very soon. So I don't know if Gotham is going to have the money to pay her the money that she can get elsewhere. So I think on that part, I think she's going to go chase money at that point. And I also think that Ryan is eating into her spot for minutes. I think Ryan is a rising player. We have her until like 2026. It might be in Midge's best interest to go chase money somewhere else. I'm sure there are teams like maybe Houston, which can throw money around because they have a lot of money. Maybe a place that she wants to be. But
man, Gary, why do you have to be so logical? I want her to stay. But I see all those points and I'll be like, probably that's what's going to happen.
for the record, I want Midge Purse for life. So there you go. So next up is Michelle Betos. Thoughts on Betos?
I think low. For me, we haven't really seen her play, and I think the bar has gone up since we got Berger. So I think we need a young, talented player.
Yeah, the question from James was, will we be looking for any new goalies? I know that is probably somewhat not serious, but I think Gotham's not going to carry 4 keepers into next season. They don't have the amount of competitions that they have this season. I think that Betos is probably on the way out, unless, I mean, we know Cassie Miller can start. So does one of the expansion teams take a shot at her? And I think the question mark for me is Abby Smith.
Mm-hmm.
She showed that she could start in this league on any team. And I think all these, again, the expansion team, Boston, should probably put in a huge bid for her to get her. Now she's back and healthy. Whether she stays or not, that's up in the air too. I would say low.
Definitely
But
low.
I think, yeah, definitely low. Yeah. All right. Then we got the McCall Zerboni, high, low, or medium?
I'm gonna go with, well, in terms, I don't know how to put it in words, but I think medium. Medium because I think she kind of like fallen into that role where you're a leader, you have a great pep talk, you've been a captain for the team, and now her role is more into like a game changer to come into the games and try to like do something. It would be medium for me with Zerboni.
Yeah, I definitely agree. She has such a veteran leadership, and that veteran experience in the locker room is so invaluable. So I think it'll depend a lot on who we resign, who we don't, and what money I think is kind of like I think available, I guess is the right word. But I'd say about a medium for her.
I had McCall low last year, but she wanted to be here and she stuck around and she was doing all the press events and she was just hanging around the team and she wants to be here. And you can't have too many McCall Zerbonis on the team. A veteran leader who's won the NWSL championship 4 times. I think medium for her. If she wants to be here and the team has a spot, I don't think she's going anywhere.
Wait, she has 4 championships? I've been saying 6. Dang, I've been wrong.
She's got 4. Lynn's got 4.
Okay, 4 each. I thought it was, I don't know why I thought it was 6. Anyway.
Indeed. All right, so let's move over to, this is going to be a tough one. Mandy Freeman.
Freeman. For me, it's going to be high with Freeman. I think she likes it here. And now, how she's been performing lately, I think they'll like her to stay.
I think medium for myself, only because, again, another like veteran player with a lot of experience. I think she's clearly proven in this game and the whole season that she like continues to be a solid, consistent player who is like exceptional against some of the like best attacking players in the league. I think it'll depend a lot on, like you said, Ruby, like what money we have available and where she kind of like falls. Because I know with the signing of Carter recently, there's more competition for those fullback positions. So unless they want to put her back to a center back position, but I mean, Davidson and Son have been so great together that I don't see that happening anytime soon.
Medium because I got high hopes, and I think Mandy is the most Gotham player on the roster. She fits everything, and this league was built on players like Mandy Freeman, who stuck through all the low times with this club and kept playing along. And I think she's playing some of her best soccer. And it seems like they found a spark in moving her to outside back. And for her to start over Nice Winger in the playoffs is an amazing feat. So I hope that she does resign because she's probably not going to be that too expensive. I think that's going to be the most daunting thing going into the next season is how much money do we have to pay these players. So I hope that she stays, but I don't know. If they haven't re-signed her so far, that kind of scares me a bit. You know. Then the next one is Savava, which I guess we all are going to agree that low, she's gone.
Low to none. Yeah.
Like every once in a while I'll check up like on her, and I looked on like Instagram. It showed that she had like hip surgery in the summer, and she is pregnant now, it looks like. So
okay. Oh, congrats.
Well away from football, so consider that off the books. Then this one's tough too. Hyatt.
I like Hyatt, but I really like Hyatt, but she hasn't been playing much. I don't think as much as she would like to. For me, on looking at it at her perspective, she's probably gonna be like gone to another team because you want to play. But on the Gotham side, I would say medium. You want to have a great player in the bench, like knowing that she'll perform.
Yeah, I think it's a low possibility that she resigns just because I know she's been in and out of the rotation. She's had different scenarios throughout the season. And I think, like you said, Ruby, like these players 100% should be looking out for what's best for them, for their careers. And I mean, she's at an age where she can still be a definitive part of any team, I think. So if she gets an opportunity to play somewhere else, I think it wouldn't be a bad idea to consider it.
I don't know what her expectations were coming to this team. I mean, my guess is that when she came to this team, she expected to be a second or possibly third string. And she played 17 or 18 games, and she filled in. She played really, really well. And I think she showed that she can start at any team in this league. So there's another player that could chase money, but obviously we want her here. She seems like a good person, and she's got a great personality, and she seemed to fit in here and seem to get along with everybody. So I think she's a talent. I think she can play here. But of course, she could start somewhere else. And with Sonnet and Davidson as locked in as the center back pairing, I wouldn't begrudge her if she wanted to go elsewhere. But hopefully she wants to stay. Next one is Maitani Lopez.
Oof. I think it would be a low. I don't know. We haven't seen her play much. So it kind of feels like Juan Carlos is not playing her because she's not performing in training. That's my only, the only thing I can think of. I don't really think she'll come back next year.
I agree. I think it is quite low, which is unfortunate just because in the games that we have seen her play, like we've seen such great potential. She's such a talented player. She has such a great vision for the game. I mean, for me personally, it'd be kind of painful to see us lose a player like this, but we've talked about it before, and I think I mentioned it, where it's like you have players like she and Zerboni, Martin, who are just so good in that midfield position where there's just so much competition, and it's going to be tough to, I think, for her to break that mold if she hasn't already.
Yeah, I think it's extremely, extremely low. I like Lopez as a player. That goal she scored in was the Summer Cup. Was that the Summer Cup? It was amazing.
Yeah, that was a great goal.
Yeah, and she's a good person, and she's a great player, and who wouldn't want to have her on the team, but she wants minutes. She's going to go elsewhere. Just is what it is. And her position is, Martin's got that locked down in the defensive midfield, and now she's like fourth string on the center back rotations. She's going to go somewhere else and get minutes. That's what it is. Sheehan, this is a tough one.
I know. It is a tough one because I guess in the Gotham perspective, it should be a high. Like, we want to keep her here. But then again, her market value has gone up with this season. Like, she's shown what she's made of. So it will be kind of like another Midge situation. Do you want to stay here or do you want to go chase the money?
Mm-hmm.
I think she's like, I would like to think that Juan Carlos Amorós has put so much trust in her and has really supported, I think, her development and her potential and just her work from last season to this season. So I hope that she's had enough of a positive and really learning experience so far to want to perhaps maybe not get as much money as she could somewhere else, but understand that this environment and this team will provide her with an opportunity to compete again for a championship next year and compete for the Shield and compete for these things that she very much is capable of doing.
Yeah, I got extremely low.
No,
she's been here for a while, and she has not had her contract upgraded yet. And they've upgraded Ryan's, they upgraded Martin's. She's the only one that hasn't had their contract taken up so far. So there's going to be teams that are going to offer her money, and I don't know if Gotham is going to be able to match it. I think they passed their chance to upgrade her contract.
I would say that if they don't, it would be a big mistake on Gotham's part, just because she's so critical in our midfield, and I think she's such a big reason for our success that I don't know. I think we mentioned this a while back, that we were like, if whatever money she wants, give it to her because we need her here.
Yeah. It kills me to say that, and I think I agree with you. That would be my first priority. I just don't know if Gotham's going to do it, and if she's going to want to stick around for the money that Gotham's going to be willing to pay her, if they haven't done so already. It's a shame because we love Sheehan, and I want to make that T-shirt, that Ryan Martin Sheehan T-shirt. But we'll do that if she gets re-signed.
Okay, there you go.
And next one is Jessica Silva. What do you think of Jessica Silva?
Oof. I feel like she didn't get enough time to play with the team. Like, it was something always happened. She'll get injured. She had surgery. Like, she was sick. It was a lot for her. So it depends what if Juan Carlos is like willing. Well, she sees her play in training, so he might have a better idea than we do because we only see her on the field. I think for myself, I think it will be a low for Silva.
I would agree. I think she's a really, really great player. I think she's a great game changer. It's just unfortunate in terms of just how much talent we have in the roster that there just might not be any space to retain her.
Yeah, she came in and then had some trouble. She had surgery, then she had an injury, so she never really got to get going here. When she has played, she's looked really, really good. I'm going to say low if Midge resigns, really low. If Midge doesn't resign, maybe a medium, maybe mid there. But I think Gotham is just going to be too stacked to spend money on her as a right winger if Midge and Ryan are both here. I just don't know how that's going to work out. Gotham is losing some players. We are losing Kelly O'Hara and Sinead Farley, which is a big blow to this team. We did miss them, and we could have used O'Hara during these playoff runs. Her veteran leadership would have been amazing. And then just looking ahead in 2026, we are looking at some other big names on the contract ending list, and that is Bruninha, Kaiser, Miller, Neiswanger, Torres, and Abby Smith. So, question from Y, and it says, plan for the front line. The summer signings didn't do as well as Stengel, in their opinion. Ella sacrificed to play wide left, and she and Esther and Rose to play together. But is that supposed to be long term? Is it possible to win this league without an explosive player like Banda, Chawinga, or Rodman? Just so, what's your thoughts on what our attacking front looks like going into next season?
I mean, I think we have a very talented front line. We do not have an explosive player like these other teams have. And I think that's probably missing. Actually, I want to take that back because Esther has been playing that role lately. She's been explosive. She has been going like 110% for this team in the last game. She scored the leading goal in the semifinals. We just need, I guess, someone that will link with her. We need a partner for her to like, so they can like kind of like Banda and Marta, how they feed off each other. I think we need something kind of similar.
For me, I think Lynn Williams, Yasmin Ryan, Esther Gonzalez, and Ella Stevens, I think our strongest option for that front line. I think it's tough when you have so many talented forwards and then it's like that rotation, that chemistry, I think is probably what maybe Juan Carlos Amores was like double, triple, like thinking about this lineup for this recent game. But I think we have a solid front line that will be able to compete and carry on into the next season. For me, and that's why I was so like keen on like emphasizing like Sheehan like continuing to stay, because I think a lot of like our play, especially with the way that we play in terms of like building and connecting and bringing the ball up is facilitated really well through that midfield section. For me, the forwards, they're going to do their work. They're going to provide that high press and they're going to make mistakes and opportunities happen. For me, my idea of how this team really works well is through that connection and that way that builds up. And I think that's also why Sonnet has been so effective too, right? Where she has this vision, she creates opportunities. So, I mean, I don't know. I diverted a little bit, but I think we've got a strong lineup for that forward positions.
Yeah, agree with all that. I'm going to take that in reverse order. Like, do we need a Chawinga, Banda, Rodman, Smith? No, we have them. And if Midge is back, then we're going to be totally fine. And Lynn Williams has not gotten healthy this season. She's been injured a lot this season. So if a healthy Lynn Williams is that explosive player, and again, if you get Midge on the other side, I don't think that's going to be a problem. If we lose Midge, then I still think we're going to be okay, because I think Ryan has been, player of the season. She's been amazing, and she's a rising player, and she seems like she has no ceiling. I think we're going to be totally fine there as well. And then this is going to be of the season, so you were not here for the postseason awards show, Noela. So curious, from question from MVP on Twitter, what has been your most memorable moment of the Gotham season this so far?
Oh man, there's been so many really, really, really good moments. For me, I think I got really emotional seeing just our send off for our Olympic players right before they were going to play. I thought that was a really, really good opportunity to just highlight their individual career paths with Gotham and just be able to. I mean, I can't imagine what it must have been like for those players to, in the middle of their season, also say, okay, I have to go over to the Olympics and transition into that, have that mindset. And you could see it on their faces, I think, how much it meant for them to not only be competing at the highest league in international play, but be able to go compete on a world stage. For me, that was really, really beautiful to see them really enjoy that moment and be able to compete in that game.
Yeah, especially like with all the expectations they had going into this Olympics with a new coach. So yeah, that's crazy. But I think for me, the most memorable moment of Gotham this season, I think, was beating Orlando at home. That was amazing. And the second one was the first playoff game at Red Bull Arena. It was just electric.
I agree with all that. It basically shows the ambition of this club and that things are going in the right direction. To see all those national team players showing off and adding a couple more, and it was amazing. And obviously the playoff game was just incredible. But for me, it's a little moment. It was the moment where Ella Stevens scores against Chicago, and she turns around, she starts kissing the badge and running a quarter way around the stadium, just celebrating. And Yael mentioned this in the ESPN article that I think Jenna wrote. That moment was something that validated what she's been working on behind the scenes with Gotham, is the players that come here. And she was only here for, a month or two, maybe at that point. And she's running around kissing the badge and happy that she's here and celebrating with this new club. And that's the kind of culture and atmosphere and the kind of teammate that you want, a player that's so invested in being here. And Ella just elevated her game. She elevated us. And it's like that moment signifies what Gotham is building here. So that was kind of my moment this season. And then there was me missing a penalty at the stadium. So,
oh my God! Anyone has video of this? Please send it in.
Please,
we need
yes.
we need footage.
Yeah, there's that. So this is another moment of the season that I think was interesting, was the game against Frasers. And I said when Gotham scored those 13 goals, it's something may have unlocked in this team, and just the way they were able to take the momentum from that game and turn it around. And Rollercoaster RJ on Blue Sky did the math and said that 21 of the goals scored in our 29 goal differential was done after the Frasers Whip game.
Wow.
So we went from scoring 1.23 a game to 2.8 a game. Incredible turnaround. So those summer tournament really did a thing for this team, and hopefully just take that momentum into the future. Now, from Julian Chaz says, what position should Gotham look to increase their depth at?
Oof. This is a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Because, again, on paper, this team should be like, we don't need anybody else. But, I mean, we had a successful season too. So what are we missing? That's the real question here. What are we missing in this team? I don't think we need more players, because we have the players here. I don't know what has to change though within them. I think it's the mentality. I don't know if it's like something like blocking them from like not going all the way, but honestly, we can't complain about this season. I think they gave us a really great season, like you just mentioned right now. Like after that game, it unlocked something in them, and they just started like picking up momentum. And I just hope that they take this momentum and just bring it into the next year. Because if they go the direction that they're going, I think they're going to be very, very successful next season as well.
What do you think, Noel? What's this team need? Does he have any needs?
I don't have a general wish list, although I am really curious to see, depending on, I'm really, really like watching what Zerboni decides to do and what Sheehan decides to do. Because as I kind of like explained before, I think this team really plays through that midfield and really creates a lot of opportunities and likes to keep possession, which is, I think, something really important to think. I think depth-wise, I know we said that Lopez would probably be a low chance, but if we had a different type of midfielder that we could potentially have as a second string, even a third string, just to add some more depth, because when we had that lull of injuries, we need to be able to be confident in the players that we're kind of like picking and plugging in. But I would generally agree overall with Ruby that we have a solid team here. Like semifinals, you can't complain about that. And the performances they've had in all the competitions overall has been really, really good. I think it'll be a chemistry question of, can this team continue to grow chemistry, continue to really understand themselves on the field? And I think it's just a matter of time before they come back and they repeat as champions.
Yeah, agree with all that. My general wish list is to try to keep this team together as much as possible. That's my general wish list. Now, what I think this team needs is a player that can play the final ball. That Sheehan is an incredible player. She sets the tempo, she sets the tone. We're missing a little bit from that position of playing in a final ball. Esther thrives on good service, and she hasn't been getting the best service. When she gets service, she puts it in the back of the net. Simple as that. So here's what I'm going to lose like half the audience. Okay, I still think Jenna Nice-Longer is a 10. I'm telling you, I still think that. I know she's on the national team left back, but a couple games ago, she was playing up high in the 10, and she nearly got Ryan through, and she nearly played another ball through. I know she has the vision, and I think that Gotham should try her. Try her as a number 10.
Mhm.
Try it. Give it a shot. So they should do in the week. Yeah.
I have to agree with you, especially now that she has that defensive experience.
Mm-hmm.
It will be really good for someone playing up higher. I think a great example would be Lynn Williams. She's a great attacker with the defensive mindset, and I think, and I've mentioned this before too, Nice-Longer is she's in defense with an attacking mindset. So imagine just putting her now up higher where she doesn't have to really worry and like go like back, because right now I feel like she gets higher, but she has to like keep like pretty much have a set of eyes behind her back of her head, because like someone like runs before her, like it's a lot of running for her. But imagine her not really have to worry about that. There's someone else in that position that takes care of that. I think she'll be really explosive in the front line. So have to agree with you, Gary.
Ooh, that's surprising. I was surprised. I think anybody would agree with me. What about you, Noela? You agree with me?
I'm a little more hesitant. I'm a little more hesitant. Not because I don't think Jen is capable or has that potential or is talented enough to play. I just think that switch of mentality would take a little bit of time, and sometimes when you do have a player that has that midfield experience and can play, that's sometimes like the perk of putting them. I mean, as you know, like putting them in that wingback position, fullback position, so that like you get an extra attacker to go and provide. I don't know. I mean, listen, Juan Carlos Amaros has definitely shocked us before, so maybe he will again with this. Maybe he'll listen in and he'll be like, "Yes, this is it."
I also have to say she's a fast learner. I mean, look at her like coming into the national team. She looked like a veteran out there. I don't know. I think she has a really great potential of being a great striker. Just saying.
Since you were not here for the award show, Noela, Roosevelt Stan Rosh asked, who was your team MVP?
Ooh.
For me, it has to be Berger. I really, really, really was really happy with how she came into the season, how she's developed, how she closed out the season. I can't think of a more. And I think sometimes it's interesting. I was also talking about this earlier today in a meeting, that we overlook sometimes our goalies so frequently. Like sometimes when we put out the lineup, we're like, oh, we're going to play a 4-2-3-1. And then you're like, you're going to play without a goalie, and you won't say, oh, I'm a 1-4-2-3-1. So I just think she's been such a cornerstone of the team. I think also in terms of, for me, I think I know she was given first team for the league, but she was actually also kind of my most underrated player in terms of there's so much star potential on this team, on this roster, that I think it's her work and the steadiness that she provides this team has been, I wouldn't say underrated by the team itself. Like anyone who watches our games knows how incredible she is. But I would say like overall, maybe I'm not sure she'll be considered as goalie of the league, but I hope she is because she's been playing lights out.
Who did you have, Ruby?
Oh my God. Like,
Right?
I had one player and then I'm like, but Sana did great as well. LaBelle has been like killing it. Then Ryan, and I'm like, I don't know who to pick to be the MVP of this team because they all have been doing so great. But, oh my God, if I have to give it to someone, I think it's going to have to be, not LaBelle, Sonnet, because she doesn't get love. Like, someone needs to, like, give her flowers. So, going to give it to Sonnet.
Question was asked by Rose Lavelle Stan, so of course it's Rose Lavelle. Of course. I know how to serve the audience. Okay. I think I had Ryan. I think it was Ryan or Sonnet. Who knows? There was like 7 of them. But so quickly, who is your most underrated on this squad?
Martin. For me, the most underrated. I think she will. I don't know. Emma Hayes, you should be looking at Neely Martin.
You know?
Well, as I said before, I thought Berger overall, like if you're not watching from like the team perspective, I think her work this season has been incredible, and I just hope the league understands just how incredible she has been and gives her that award. I don't know, but if it wasn't her, I would say I think Zerboni also had a really, really strong season and underrated in the sense that I think sometimes we forget how important that veteran leadership is, how much her experience is, and just still, and for me personally, I think seeing her come back from such a serious injury has also been really, really empowering to see, and see her come out and just continue to play as if it was her first season in the league. So I'm really happy for her in the season she had.
Yeah, I agree with you on McCall and Taryn for coming back from those injuries. They did an amazing job. And yeah, you can never underestimate how much having a player like Zerboni on your roster is a boost for your team. And I think underrated, I'm going with you, Ruby. I think Martin's always underrated. And the problem with the national team is they usually only carry one defensive midfielder, and then they shift other people around. So that spot's going to be very hard for her to get into. But I hope that she does get a look eventually. If she has another season like this season, maybe next season is the one. And last one is most improved. I think we can probably all agree Ryan is the most improved player on the squad in the league.
Yes.
She's been incredible. Yeah, Ryan is another level right now. And so any random thoughts before we get out of here? That was a lot.
I know. That was a lot. I don't have any random thoughts for this episode. Do you, Carrie or Noela?
Just happy to be back. It's unfortunate the conditions, but I'm just happy to talk to you guys and just talk soccer.
Yeah, just a quick shout out to Michelle Kang. Amazing person. For me, like I don't really know her backstory that much. So I don't know if soccer was something that she did when she was younger or whatever.
Yeah.
But her investment in this sport has been mind-boggling and incredible. Her investment in sport has just been so incredible. And I think what makes her different than almost every single other person that's invested in this sport is that she's listening. It's rare to see someone who's not just throwing money at something. It's not a charity, but whenever she puts money towards something, I'm giving you this money for this specific purpose because I've been listening and I know this is the issue. This is how we're going to solve this issue. Like she's putting $2 million towards changing women's soccer cleats, which for so long the cleats have just been men's cleats just fitted for a woman. So that's could be one of the reasons why women's players have so much ACL injuries. They've made some improvements, but putting $2 million or $3 million, whatever she put in there, towards that is incredible. And that's going to be great for the future of all women soccer players and possibly all women athletes. And she just announced a $30 million investment in U.S. soccer in general. It's going to help all the pipelines. There's going to double the the identifying camps that they have. So they're going to be able to find players more. They're going to be able to nurture players more with this money. And it's like $30 million over 5 years. And it's just amazing just to listen to her. And she's very much on point. I'm giving you money for this, 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 and this is how we're going to do it. Just incredible. We're just so lucky to have her investing in this sport. It
is incredible, honestly. And I just want to say, I want to be Michelle Kang when I grow up. That's just amazing how she's helping the women's soccer, women's sports in general grow so much. Pretty much all her investments right now have been like women's soccer related. And with this, wow. And it will be a great case study how she's designing these, everything that she's doing. But specifically for me, a great case study for the cleats that she wants to do for women and see how that affects the ACL injuries.
As a player, Noela, with cleats themselves, I know Nike's making cleats that have a circular design at the forefoot, which allows them to pivot and not grip in straight up.
As opposed to the triangle.
Yes, the triangle where it dips in. I do notice some players slipping when they're pivoting on it, but that's probably a good thing. So it's not gripping in and turning. So that's probably a good thing. But have you used these cleats before, Noelle?
It was funny because I got myself the IDA turf shoes and I got IDA their futsal type shoes, which I actually use when I'm training on concrete. So I'm out with the wall at the parks and stuff and I'm out there. So I use those shoes. The turf ones I haven't actually gotten to break in just yet because I'm so comfortable in as long as my cleats are circular with conical studs, I'm okay with them. But overall, I've really, really liked my experience with the shoes, with the IDA shoes. I have yet to get the cleats just because they're a little hard to find in stores in person. I don't like ordering it online. But I when I did see her investment, Michelle's and others reach in and put in $2 million into IDA, I was really, really happy because not only is it encouraging this company to continue to facilitate and specifically make shoes for women, it's forcing all the other brands to do the same thing. When Rihanna came out with Fenty, they said, okay, we need to make sure that every brand is coming out with foundation for everyone. So I think this is an opportunity for all other brands to really wake up and say, how are we best going to make shoes that are appropriate for female soccer players?
That's a great point.
Yeah, when we started covering this league, if you're investing in this league, it was kind of a charity. You knew you weren't going to be making money on it. There wasn't really a plan. But now when you hear Michelle Kang talk, she's like, this is a business opportunity. And she'll make that money back eventually. And she's lighting the way. And the $30 million investment, it's said to increase 100,000 new opportunities for women and girls in soccer. It's incredible. We can't thank her enough. So we don't know what the offseason holds for Gotham. We didn't put many episodes up during the offseason last season because it was kind of boring. And the news kind of came all at one time in early January. So we might be back. We might cover some new stuff, but we'll see. But we will see you guys all soon. Thank you guys all for listening and sticking with us for all this time.
Yes. Thank you for sticking with us all this season. Kind of feels sad at the end of the season, but hey, we always have next year.
I'm wishing everyone a really nice, happy Thanksgiving next week.
Yay, yes. Oh my God, Thanksgiving's next week. That's crazy.
That's crazy. All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Soccer Over Gotham is brought to you by a dedicated team of Gotham FC enthusiasts who aim to bring you the latest news, analysis, and in-depth discussions about Gotham FC and the National Women's Soccer League. This podcast is hosted by Ruby Pinto, Noela Franco, and Gary Gibson. This show is produced and edited by Gary Gibson. For more Gotham FC content, follow the show on social media at Soccer Over Gotham on Instagram, Threads, and YouTube. Also over Gotham Pod on Twitter, X to join the community. For news and updates, visit soccerovergotham.com. To support the show, please rate us 5 stars on Spotify and leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Purchase merch at the show's official TeePublic store. Search all 4 words, Soccer Over Gotham Podcast. Subscribe so that you don't miss a thing, and share the show with anyone who might listen. Word of mouth is everything. Thank you for making it this far. We will see you on the next one.